Well, welcome to 2nd Peter. We are still in unit number 12. When we look at 2nd Peter and Jude together, though we will study Jude separately with in the order of the New Testament after 1st, 2nd, 3rd John. But both letters, 2nd Peter and Jude, are very similar. Both letters denounce false teachers in similar language. The similarity in order and the rarity of language elsewhere in the Bible show some affinities literarily between 2nd Peter and Jude. Now, here are the possibilities. Possibly Jude was Peter's amanuensis. In the category of borrowing, either Peter borrowed from Jude or Jude borrowed from Peter. And they could have had a dependence upon a common text. Okay? Most modern scholars think 2nd Peter used Jude, but it could just as easily have been the other way around. Now, the occasion for this letter is eschatological skepticism. Remember, class, eschatology is the belief of the end times. Eschaton means the end, or the last days, from Greek word. Believers were beginning to doubt that Christ would return. You know, the time was going along here, and so they're having problems believing he would come back. Also, there were false teachers. Their immoral lifestyle identified them. Some would say this is an incipient or beginning form of Gnosticism. Others would say, well, it's Epicureanism. We don't have enough evidence to give a positive ID on any single group of opponents. Most modern scholars do not think Peter could have written this letter. Now, this is one view. We'll show the opposing view in just a moment. Here's why they say that Peter couldn't have written it. The vocabulary and the style are very different from 1st Peter. False teaching is a 2nd century Gnosticism problem. So they say it's too late to be Peter. In other words, think about it. If Peter is killed by Nero in the mid-60s, well, Gnosticism was full-blown 2nd century. So that puts him past 100, right? AD 100. That's their argument. It refers to Paul's letters as scripture. And they're saying that would have happened later. There are references to the death of the fathers, importance of the apostolic tradition, and the delay of the parousia. The parousia is the Greek word for Jesus' return. They would also say the letter is not strongly attested in the ancient church, and it's modeled after pseudonymous Jewish testamentary literature. All right, so those are the arguments against Peter as the author of 2nd Peter. But here's the defense for the authenticity of Peter as the writer of 2nd Peter. The Greek of 2nd Peter is not nearly as distinctive as some would assert. It is very improbable that the false teachers were Gnostics. Gnosticism was full-blown 2nd century. The apostles considered their own words to carry an authority that's tantamount to Scripture. So that would account for that critique in the other view. It's a bad example of early Catholicism. Yes. The attestation of 2nd Peter in the ancient church may not be as strong as the other New Testament books, but still it far outstrips any book left out of the canon. And 2nd Peter belongs to the genre of letter. So here are the possibilities of date and place of writing. If it's pseudonymous, then it would have to be early 2nd century. But if Peter wrote it, which I think he did, it would be written just before his death in the mid-60s during the Neronian persecution from Rome. The destination and the audience. This is a general epistle, sometimes referred to as Catholic, not Roman Catholic Catholic meaning universal or general. Still, it appears to have been written to a specific situation. Perhaps it's written to the same churches as 1 Peter. The audience was probably mostly Gentile. The contribution of 2 Peter is that it emphasizes the seriousness of deviating from faith, either in theology or in morals. It enhances our understanding of eschatology and emphasizes the importance of memory in Christian life. All right, class. Well, let's move on to the next unit.